It's about time for another Battle of I-94 series, and certainly no love lost between the Prowlers and the Rockers. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Well, the Prowlers are coming into this one a little bit short-handed. They announced earlier today Mitch Jones and Tucker Tynan have been placed on the IR, and Liam Freeborn will also be unavailable tonight as he can't go as well. So that is the top forward, the number one goaltender, and a top two defenseman all out of the lineup tonight for the Prowlers. But still, plenty of guys in the lineup who can make an impact. We will talk about them coming up on the pregame show. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. Welcome back to McMorran Place. We're just minutes away from puck drop between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers, the 12th meeting between these teams this season. Before we talk about tonight's meeting, let's take a look back at the last games for both of these teams, starting with the Rockers as they faced the Binghamton Black Bears and got a victory on February the 10th. And a big difference between the loss the night before and the victory on that night was Trevor Babin, who made 37 saves after returning from a one-game suspension. The Black Bears won the game the previous night 7-5. TJ Delaney showed out on offense for Motor City with a goal and a helper, and Motor City was able to come away with the victory. And again, Trevor Babin with his 37 saves coming up big in that one. Nolan Egbert only had 15 stops in the loss for the Black Bears, and the Black Bears got into some frustration, got into some trouble, especially their head coach Brant Sherwood, who ended up picking up a game misconduct at the end of the second period for abuse of officials, and he ended up with a one-game suspension for that. So Rockers able to frustrate the Black Bears and pick up a victory to end that weekend series and earn a split. For the Prowlers, a second straight 4-3 win over the Watertown Wolves. This time, it took extra hockey, only 15 seconds of it, before Liam Freeborn scored his third straight game-winning goal. He had the game-winning goal in both games last weekend, as well as the Saturday game against the Elmira River Sharks 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately for the Prowlers, as I mentioned in the open, he will not be in the lineup tonight as he is not feeling well, unable to go. But Tucker Tynan picked up both victories last weekend. He made 38 saves in the last one. Spencer Kozlowski, to his credit, a 41 save performance, but couldn't pick up the victory. Dalton Jay, 2 goals, the first 2 goals of that game. He's 1 point away from 500 in his FPHL career, which we'll get to a little bit more later on. But in the standings, we're seeing a little bit of a split in the Continental Division between the top 3 and the bottom 3, and that kind of leaves Mississippi on a bit of an island because the Seawolves are decently far ahead of the Blue Ridge Bobcats, significantly I might say, is 17 points separating the Bobcats from the final playoff spot in the Continental Division. Meanwhile, over in the Empire, the Motor City Rockers now have a 12-point lead on Danbury for second place in the division. So they're also comfortable in their spot, as both teams looking to lock down playoff spots that are higher than they ended up last season. Of course, the Rockers were in the Continental, finished third, and the Prowlers, also in the Continental last year, finishing 4th. The Rockers are getting a couple of guys back tonight, and one of them, their captain, Danny Vanderweel, who's playing in his 14th game of the year, but he hasn't played since he took a hit in Danbury from Daniel Amesbury back on December the 2nd. That sparked a chain of events that led to Amesbury, being suspended for 18 games and then indefinitely, and then he was released, and now here we are as Daniel Amesbury no longer in the FPHL, and Danny Vanderweel, though, returning from IR this week, and a big, big return it is for the Motor City Rockers. They'll also be getting TJ Sneath back from IR, who last played when these two teams matched up on January the 20th. For the Prowlers, we already mentioned it, Dalton J. 2 goals and 4 points last weekend for him. 2 goals in the second game, 2 assists in the first game. He's 1 point away from 500 in his FPHL career. See where he slots into the lineup. He'll be starting on that second line along with Sam Merritt and Tucker Scantleberry. Prowlers have to mix things up with no Liam Freeborn tonight. As I mentioned, if you're just joining us, the Prowlers leader in goals and points is unable to go in tonight's game. So we'll see a little bit of a different lineup. Tristan Sim taking his spot on the top line with Matt Graham and Austin Federley. And then the other 2 lines mixing up a little bit. Vinny DeCumbus slots in with Evan Foley and Dan Chartrand in a defensive line for the Prowlers. Meanwhile, on the back end, they'll play with 7 defensemen, with Braden Deck and Dalton Young both in, as well as Paul Arnott, who was signed back today by the team. And they're split up Brian Parsons and Frank Schumacher once again. Young now slides up to the top pairing with Alex Johnson, where Braden Deck was last week. And Arnott will slip in with Parsons. And in that tonight, of course, no Tucker Tynan. So it will be Ian Wallace and Makar Sokolov between the pipes this weekend. Of course, the Prowlers don't have any games next week. So essentially, Mitch Jones and Tucker Tynan being put on IR is just a 1-week IR. I put in air quotes because they will be eligible to return the next time the Prowlers play after this weekend, which is in Danbury at the beginning of March. But they're getting set for puck drop here at McMorran Place. They're just about to announce the starters for the Port Huron Prowlers. And we will send you down to ice level to do that now. Sarah Dent back on the anthem tonight as the Prowlers and the Rockers get set to drop the puck once again. And we have a ceremonial puck drop from Kroll Elementary School, who is here celebrating tonight and doing a little fundraiser for the local elementary school. We have our ceremonial puck drop. Let's get you our starting goaltenders for tonight's game. We told you about Ian Wallace already in his last start, a victory back on February the 3rd against the Elmira River Sharks, coming in looking for win number 6 on the season. On the other side, Trevor Babin, the #1 goaltender all year long for the Motor City Rockers. His numbers speak for themselves as he is among the top goaltenders in the FPHL. And he is back between the pipes tonight as Motor City looks to snap the Prowlers' winning streak over them right now. That is 2 games after the sweep a month ago. Prowlers in their regular home black jerseys, which we haven't seen too much of this season, but they are 4-0-1 wearing the blacks, and you are watching them drop the puck and get underway. That puck dumped in quickly into the Prowlers zone. It pops out, trying to force it towards the net was Nick Gullo, number 94. Acquired from Elmira just before the River Sharks were scheduled to play here at McMorran Place. And that came just after he was reactivated from the SPHL. He played 6 games this season with Quad City and Knoxville in the SB. 4 points in 5 games so far as a Rocker, after the trade that came right at the end of January. After the icing, Rockers send out their top line of Koash, Conway, and Svintsov. Prowlers will make a change after Wallace scoops that puck up, and they'll send out what I called the defensive line in the pregame show of Foley, Chartrand, and DeCumbus. It's tied up there, comes back to Tim Delaney, who walks down the wall, feeds it behind the net. Svintsov trying to dig it out. Instead comes over to Adam Heinzel. Pulls up on the wall. Foley reverses it back to Schumacher. Around towards Chartrand, he tips it out. Koash hassled by DeCumbus. Now he'll give it to Milam, who touches it on for Tim Delaney, who sits behind his own net. About a minute gone in this one so far as Delaney looks to spring a breakout pass off the stick of Conway. He and Schumacher after it. Conway tried a centering feed, ends up on Koash's stick, looks down towards Svintsov, hopped away from him. Reverse back this direction where Schumacher gives it off to Foley. And now DeCumbus off the glass and out. TJ Delaney out there with Jonathan Giuliano and Danny Vanderweel, the Rockers captain, who, if you missed the pregame show, playing in his first game since he took that scary hit all the way back in early December from Daniel Amesbury in Danbury. Rockers certainly happy to see him back, and he'll definitely get a big ovation tomorrow night at Big Boy Arena. Vanderweel playing in his 14th game this season. He has 4 goals and 11 points. Rimmed around, Sim and Fields tie up. Young pinches in as TJ Delaney tries to work it out. Backhand feed across. Giuliano will send it back to Rotundi. Now on to Fields, curling away from pressure. Prowlers just couldn't keep it alive. Johnson quick up towards Federley off his skate. Now puck slides back to Alex Johnson. Federley again. He'll turn around and dump it in as both teams make some changes. It's Mike Wynn hanging up behind his own net, up to Tristan Wells. Comes back around to the far side. Parsons will handle it and sauce over to Deck off his skate. Bouncing towards the crease Babin knocks it away. Here's Jay flying in, 1 point from 500 in his career. Deck slides it all the way through, couldn't find a friendly stick. Parsons gets it to Scantleberry. Wynn locks him up. TJ Sneath fresh off the IR, sent it up the boards. Jay's quick shot gobbled up by Babin. Didn't look like he saw it the whole way, but he got it and secured it. And we'll get a whistle and a face-off with 17:06 to go in period number 1. Prowlers send back out Evan Foley's line against Scott Coash's line. We'll see if that matchup continues as Chris Paulin trying to get the line matchups going. Heinzel pinching in as Colton tries to work it free. And now Coash sends it up to Svintsov. Had to come back for the puck, and that drew Conway offside as he was heading into the zone. So we get another whistle and another face-off early on in this game. One shot for either side so far as Foley and Coash slide back to the dot together. All or not. Gives it over to Schumacher. Quick up towards Chartrand, rubbed out by Delaney. Milam. Far side pass to Coash, tipped in by Svintsov. Arnott plays it to Schumacher. Now Foley bounces it up to Chartrand. All he could do was reach out and keep it moving. Svintsov turns the corner in his own end. Forced back by Foley, who will head off for a change. Pass across eluded Milam, but ends up right on Svintsov's stick. And now Tim Delaney once more. Milam up to Giuliano, back to Delaney. And now Federley takes it away at center. Johnson dumps it around. Babin out to play it. Got past him. Graham centering feed. Hit a skate, but Johnson able to keep it alive. Tipped towards the front of the net. Milam took it away. And now comes to Sim. Backhands it deep. Federley in front, looking towards Graham, but I think Matt Graham was coming to support him on the forecheck. So nothing doing there as the Rockers come the other direction. Giuliano taken in by Graham. Young takes the puck. They'll slide it across to Johnson, who picks it up off the boards. Johnson backhander. Steered away by Babin, right to Fields. Giuliano flips it over to the near side. Prowlers wanted an icing call, but they won't get it. Merritt flying up. Saw it go back the other way, and now Jay makes a move at the blue line. That's poked off his stick. 2-on-1, they hurry, but the Prowlers back in numbers. Seek from the outside, couldn't find the target. And Rotundi pulls up. He hits the red line. He sends a cross-corner dump in before heading to the bench for a change. Foley drops it for Parsons. Quick up towards the offensive blue line. Icing waved off. Wells tried to knock it forward. Instead comes to Gullo. Colton back to the other side. Wynn. Now Sneath tipping it along. And it comes right on net. Wallace will cover up for a whistle and a face-off. And we'll take our first time out just under 6 minutes into period 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. Still no score here at McMorran Place. 14:05 left to go in the Munger Physical Therapy first period. 3 shots total in this game, and 2 of them belonging to the Motor City Rockers. For this face-off to Wallace's right, it's Koash losing the draw to Foley. Parsons gives it right up to the Prowlers captain. He hustles along, plays it off the back wall, gets after it himself, and couldn't put it back on net. Smitsov to Koach. Gives it back to him. Smitsov makes a move around deck. Centering feed knocked away by the paddle of Ian Wallace. Now Wynn with a drive deflected wide. Parsons tries to float it out. Conway gloved it down. Sent a shot past the cage. Ends up sliding through to Chartrand. He steps on in, trying to muscle off Conway. Now Colton behind the net. Gives it to Wynn, who reverses it right back. They'll try the right side to Spinsaw, back across to Wynn. He dumps it in right on Wallace, and Schumacher comes in to collect. Federley on towards Sim. Too much sauce on that one maybe for Tristan Sim. As Graham sent it out front, turnaround try by Federley. It was blocked by Wynn. And now it's dumped in, bouncing right towards Wallace. He'll scoop it up and hang on for a whistle and a face-off as they were trying to spring Vanderweel, who looked like he had a step. Vanderweel will take this face-off against Matt Graham. They'll count that one as a shot on net for Mike Wynn, who already has 2 of them tonight. Rockers up on shots 3-1. As Federley knocks that puck in, gets after it behind the net. Federley with some speed finds Young at the point, and now over to Johnson. They'll turn it deep. Milam plays it out this side. TJ Delaney tried to spring Giuliano. Johnson stepped in front of that pass, and he dumps it back in as the Prowlers get the forwards off. Giuliano to Milam. Back across to the other side. Sneath and Merritt come together, and Young keeps the puck in. Merritt towards Jay. He cycles it deep. Touched on for Scantleberry. In front. And Babin got a stick on that pass. Johnson towards the net. Had it blocked. Johnson again. Did not keep that puck alive. I thought he may have, but it did just slip out. So we'll get a whistle and another face-off. The face-off will be just outside of the Rockers' end. Foley wins it away from Sneath. And now Chartrand dumps it around. Foley slipping in, looking for that puck. It's a 2-a-side scrum. Chartrand able to dig it out, bounce it up the wall to Parsons. Over to Arnott. Shot comes in, and it was deflected wide. I think it hit Foley on the way through. Rockers have iced this puck. So with 11:18 to go in period 1, Motor City won't get the chance to change. Prowlers have decided not to make any changes as well. Sneath and Foley once again. It's time to Babin's left. Rotundi gave it off, but it's taken away by DeCumbus. He's turning and finds Parsons at the point. Over to Arnott. Back towards the cage, kicked out by Babin. So he was waiting for a lane to open up with Tristan Wells right on top of him. Rockers get a full line change going. And here's Conway fresh off the bench. Gives it up to Koash. Across. And it's touched along by Rotundi, trying to pick it up on the other side. Couldn't do it. Spintsov able to get around Graham, but he's taken in by Arnott. And now Koash bounces it back to Rotundi. It's dumped in, icing waved off. Parsons and Koash after it. Parsons able to force it up the boards. Wynn just does keep it in, but Parsons gloves it down. Looking for Arnott, he'll play it off the boards. And now Federley skates into it, has Sim going to the net, sends it there, and it just stopped over his stick. Graham behind that, in front, Sim got a good stuff attempt, and Babin was able to make the save. Schumacher waits for his team to complete a change. He finds Dalton Jay. 3 Rockers waiting for him at the blue line. Jay from the outside, in and out of the glove of Babin. And the puck ends up behind the net. TJ Delaney couldn't loft it out. Scantleberry towards the cage, goes wide. Heinzel couldn't get all he wanted on a bouncing puck. It's probably on edge, I believe, when he shot it. And now the Prowlers turn the other direction. Scantleberry trying to push past Tim Delaney. Gets it across to Jay. And now Merritt behind the net, out towards Scantleberry, but it got through. Young up to Scantleberry again. He tips it along. 9:10 to go in period 1. Rimmed up towards Wells and back around behind the net. It got through its intended target. Ends up coming back to this side, and Gullo forces it out. Alex Johnson rims it towards Dalton Young. And now DeCumbus off the boards, touched along. Here's Chartrand with Foley going to the net. He pulls up, sends it down to the corner. Foley keeps it moving. Johnson sauces it deep, Foley on it. In front, looking towards DeCumbus, he was tied up. Puck still ended up caroming towards Babin. He covers up for a whistle and a faceoff, and we'll take a timeout in a scoreless hockey game. 8:27 left to go in the opening period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Back here in Port Huron, Prowlers and Rockers still scoreless. 8:27 left to go in the Munger Physical Therapy first period. It's been the Prowlers who have had the better of the play over these last few minutes. They have the last 4 shots on goal, leading in that category 5-3 at the moment. And it's top line against top line. It's Matt Graham and Scott Koash take this face-off. Fields with his head up finds Rotundi. Now over to Spintsov. Into offensive territory, pulls up, cycles it deep. Frank Schumacher first on it, has some time. He'll give it to Sim, who's dumped immediately by Rotundi. And now Schumacher on it again. Up to Sim. Tries to work his way in. Almost got the pass back from Matt Graham. Graham battling for it in the corner. He'll pick it up behind the net. Tried to wheel it in front. Kowash took it away. And now a 3-on-2 for Motor City. But the pass hops away from Svintsov. And Parsons able to take it back for Port Huron. Scantleberry up the right wing side. He pulls up in offensive territory. His shot kicked out by Babin. Arnott backdoors the net right into the breadbasket of Trevor Babin with traffic coming through. We got another whistle and another face-off. Sam Merritt's line out there. Dalton J, 1 point away from 500. Although I can't say that too much because he told me this week that I was jinxing him when I kept saying it during the last game after he got the first 2 goals. So that'll be it until it happens. Or until I forget that I said that was it. We'll see. Parsons watched by Giuliano behind his own net. He steps out, off the boards onto Chartrand. Waits for help. They'll send it deep towards Foley. Working behind the cage, rims it up. Got through deck though. DeCumbus fresh off the bench, first on the puck. 2-line pass finds Chartrand. Sends it down towards Foley. They'll push it behind the net. DeCumbus coming in for it. Centering feed cut off. Now Foley trying to work out of the corner. Gives to Schumacher, D to D to deck. Now Chartrand had it knocked off his stick. Gullo goes up the wall. Deck first on it. That shot got through. And Babin forced to make a save. Chartrand again in front looking for Schumacher pinching. He was tied up by Tim Delaney. Sneath one-hands it along. Gullo able to force it out. And Schumacher plays it off the boards back the other direction. Gullo comes together with Dan Chartrand. And now Tim Delaney will settle things down with both teams making changes. Schumacher collects now in his own end. He'll give to Sim, back to Frank Schumacher. Rimmed up and out. Comes in on Wallace. Wanted to leave it for Schumacher, but with Kowash coming in, he elects to clip the glove on top and hang on for a whistle and a face-off. That is the first Motor City shot in just under 8 minutes of game time. Prowlers have been able to control play, cycling in the offensive zone for good portions of this opening period. Still haven't been able to solve Trevor Babin yet. They'll try again here. It's Federley. Tried to slide it back towards Graham. A holding penalty is coming up, and the Prowlers will be first to the man advantage tonight as Declan Conway is the guilty party. And the quality power play goes to work for the first time, 5th in the FBHL at 22.5%. Motor City's PK, 3rd in the league, 82.7%. Rockers killed off 8 of 9 penalties against Binghamton. Prowlers 3 of 13 on the man advantage last weekend against Watertown. But those power play goals were big ones. The game-winning goal on Friday, would be a week ago, was a power play goal. Here's Johnson. Of course, that goal is from Liam Freeborn, and he is not in the lineup here tonight. Chartrand tried to send it up the boards. A little miscommunication with Merritt, who was heading towards the net. Now Merritt slides back in. Prowlers have numbers towards the net. Back across. And it just hopped over Scantleberry's stick. Wallace all the way out to play it, quickly up to Chartrand with the Rockers in the midst of a change. Comes to Scantleberry, and it wrestled away by Spinsov, and he'll dump it down the ice as the Prowlers switch up the unit halfway through the man advantage. Federley drops it for Sim, steps around Vanderweel. Sim works in. And now Graham out high to Federley, over to DeCumbus. Walks down the wall, back to Federley. They play catch, ends up coming across for Graham. Sim towards the net, and Babin made the save. As they look for Tristan Sim a couple of times, he got a good chance. Babin comes up with the stop. Sim back on it with 25 to go on the power play. Over to DeCumbus. Touched back over to Matt Graham. Prowlers in the midst of a change. Federley gives a Chartrand, shot blocked as Chartrand got lost coming off the bench. And Federley will be forced to play it back at center as the Prowlers man advantage set to expire. Graham from the outside. Stopped by Babin, and back to 5-on-5 as Wynn reverses it to Vanderweel. They'll clap it all the way down ice, race for the puck, and Parsons will win that. Icing called. We will get a stoppage and a timeout. 2:57 to go in period one. Rockers kill off the Prowlers power play. We stay scoreless. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's! Prowlers get one shot on the unsuccessful power play, and we still have zeros on the board with 2:57 to go in period number one. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. 12th Battle of I-94 this season. Jay pulls it out, slipped it on the ice towards the net. Kicked out by Babin. Backhanded along by Colton. Here's Parsons. Watched by Conway. Sent towards the front. Sneak! Stopped by Wallace, who slid all the way across. So that puck popped out of the pile in a hurry right on TJ Sneath's tape. And Ian Wallace beat him. Scantleberry back the other direction. Gets to the slot. All he could do was dump it around. Graham. Out high to Schumacher. Back to Matt Graham. Sends it across to Parsons. Wrist shot looking for Jay's stick, but it was lifted as he was heading towards the back post. Parsons to Schumacher. And now Sim. Taken by Delaney, trying to turn it back the other direction, but his pass to Sneath off the mark. It's touched on to Federley. Off the wall, here's Graham. Around towards Sim, off his stick. And Milam able to sky it out. It drops for Johnson. Rockers in the midst of a change. Johnson working up the right wing side, gives to Graham. He pulls up. Back on the puck, Johnson. Able to force it down low towards our knot. Now Sim one-hands it along. And it bounced towards the cage, but it's knocked to the glass. Sim just trying to find Federley with that little one-hander as Federley was popping out from the corner. He couldn't get it cleanly though and get a good shot away. George Holt gave it across before it was dumped in. First I've seen of Holt tonight. There's Foley. Tried to drop pass off the board, but Spinsaw was all over it. We're under a minute to go here in period one. DeCumbus down the boards. Foley behind the net. Out to Deck, towards the cage. That was blocked. They get it on net anyway. Bounced around. That was DeCumbus, who was just able to force it towards the cage on his backhand. Now Fields works it up to Conway. Dump out to Kowash as Spinsaw going to the net, gets it there. Backhander, another big save by Ian Wallace, and he's on top of it for a whistle. Two big stops for Ian Wallace in this period. And in the final minutes, he keeps it tied with 16.4 seconds left to go in period one. We'll see a face-off to his right as they comes to the corner. Sim across to Schumacher. Graham off the boards, out of the reach of Austin Federley. And that will likely do it for this period as Federley picks it up in the corner. And through 20 minutes of play, we are tied at zeros. Shots on goal in that opening period favoring the Prowlers 12-6, but a couple of miraculous saves from number 41 in the crease for the Prowlers keeps this one scoreless. Coming up in the first intermission, take a look back at the highlights against the Watertown Wolves last weekend. A couple of close games and a sweep for the Prowlers. We'll stick around for that. We'll also take a look at some storylines around the FPHL, including a trade that was and a trade that maybe wasn't. We'll tell you a little bit more about that when we come back, and all of it coming up in the first intermission report right here on the PHP Network. The Prowlers and the Rockers still looking to solve a goaltender tonight. Well, spring is almost here, so get some warmer styles at the Port Huron Prowlers team store. Store features lace-up sweatshirts, mid-stalls, team issue apparel, and more, with new merch coming in all season long. Come find us on the west end of McMorran Arena at every home game, or online anytime at prowlersmerch.com. You can scan the QR code on your screen now to visit the online shop. Look your po-ho best with gear from the Prowlers team store. No score, 20 minutes down here at McMorran Place between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, highlights from last weekend's series against the Watertown Wolves. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. Two kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Last weekend, the Prowlers welcomed the Watertown Wolves to McMorran Place for the second time, and they came away with a couple of close wins thanks to some clutch goals from number 14. Let's take a look back at the highlights. Honor now belongs to Tate Leeson, the leading goal scorer for these Wolves. Here's Tristan Sim in front, score! 59 seconds in, it's Vinny DeCumbus on the receiving end of that pass, and the Prowlers take an early 1-0 lead. Trims it around, Blacksmith able to tip it along. Here comes Leeson with a step. Parsons got back on him, and Tynan makes a couple of saves. Up the near side, it's Lord. Dumps it in, heads after it himself. Tynan plays it away. Johnson able to get it out all the way down, right on Bouchard's tape. Long lead pass, cut off by Chartrand as Foley going to net. He shoots, he scores! Dan Chartrand, a shorty, puts the Prowlers back in front. And we're set for 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Sim curling in the corner, loses his man, gets in front and he scores! What a move from Tristan Sim in the corner, gets around Bouchard and gives the Prowlers a 3-1 lead. Off the face-off, Prowlers set back up. Freeborn walks in, shoots, score! I'm not sure if that hits somebody in front or not, but it squeaks through the 5-hole, and the Prowlers have a power play goal to take the lead again. Rimmed around, Scantleberry has it there. Down to Foley. Backdoor feed, score! Dalton J in tight. Power play goal for the Prowlers. They open the scoring. Jay off the face-off, slipped it through. Freeborn back in front, Jay scores again! Second of the period for number 92, and the Prowlers have a 2-0 lead. Leeson flying in, gets to the net, kicked out by Tynan, slid across the crease before it's cleared out to Lord. Shot blocked by Graham. Lord on the follow-up, stopped by Tynan, bounces around, and Parsons has it in the corner with Dalton J on the right wing. Again, still 1 point away from 500. Maybe if I say it enough, it will sound good on the highlight reel. Johnson scores! Alex Johnson just slipped in on the left wing side, and he finds the far corner over the shoulder of Kozlowski to extend the Prowler lead. Sergeyev floats it towards the net, deflects behind the cage. Thornton wraparound try. It pops out. Sergeyev winds, gives it over, and Tynan has that one in the catching glove for a whistle and a face-off. He's not on the ice though. As Prowlers start with their top line of Graham, Federley, and Freeborn going up against Lord, Leeson, and Dabari. Freeborn had a step, couldn't handle the pass clean, and it slips by and in! Freeborn one-handed it on goal. It just slipped through Kozlowski. The Wolves don't think it went in, but the Prowlers are celebrating. Boy, that overtime winner just did cross the line, but it did all the way. And the Prowlers able to steal a couple of games and come out on top, pick up 5 points in the standings. They'll look for some more points as this game continues to roll on next on the PHP Network.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Welcome back to McMorran Place. First intermission getting set to wrap up in a few minutes. Prowlers and Rockers tied up at none, and that is a theme currently around the FPHL. As we take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard, Will Wiggleman with you on the PHP Network. Only one goal so far tonight in the FPHL. And it belongs to Trevor Lord of the Watertown Wolves. That's a power play marker. And Watertown has a 1-0 lead on Danbury in the first period. Also in the first period, Billy Stevens and Brendan Colgan have kept the teams off the board in Columbus. Zydeco and River Dragons tied up at none. They're through 20 minutes in Elmira, and Sammy Bernard and Connor Green have done their jobs. 16 saves for Bernard in the River Sharks net, 11 saves for Green in the Bobcats net. No score as well through 20 minutes. And then coming up, getting set to drop the puck in Mississippi, the Carolina Thunderbirds will take on the Seawolves. That is scheduled for an 8:05 puck drop. As we have a full slate of games around the FPHL tonight. The only team not playing tonight, the Binghamton Black Bears. That is your out-of-town scoreboard. I just see that the goaltenders for that Carolina-Mississippi game have appeared, so it will be Cody Karpinski and Joe Shepard, the projected starters in that one down in Biloxi. Keeping it around the FPHL, we have a lot of storylines around the league this week, and one of them important to the Prowlers, as this happened in the Prowlers game. Dakota Seaman got 7 games for clipping Tucker Scantleberry. Not only did he get 7 games, he was given 5 games originally. It was then extended to 7 games, as Seaman was caught on video, because not on the broadcast, but on the live barn camera here at McMorran Place, which the Prowlers were able to send in. According to Dave Jackson with the Department of Player Safety, he intentionally and deliberately targeted his opponent's knees and injured him in the process. This is no longer an attempt to injure, but a match penalty for deliberate injury. So that may be part of the explanation for the extension to 7 games. In Mississippi, former Prowler Dustin Skinner has been named the head coach of the Seawolves. He was an assistant in the NAHL up to this point. He won the Commissioner's Cup as a player with the Prowlers back in 2016, and he has been named as the replacement for Joe Pace, who was very open about the fact that he was leaving the team, made a statement a couple of weeks ago, and now the Mississippi Seawolves have a new bench boss. Finally, we had a trade between the Carolina Thunderbirds and Baton Rouge Zydeco that involved the Elmira River Sharks as well, as Frankie McClendon goes from Carolina to Baton Rouge, and then Greg Hussey goes from Baton Rouge to Elmira and then to Carolina. And for the first time that I've seen, the Hussey brothers are separated, as Greg Hussey goes to Carolina and Brendan Hussey, of course, still in Baton Rouge. At least that's what he was this afternoon. And the last time I checked the transactions, there was a transaction that appeared that sent McClendon to Elmira for 2 players at some point earlier on today, but that transaction then disappeared, so I'm not sure if something fell through, if it was an unofficial transaction, something along those lines, but we'll see if that ends up coming down later on this week. Turning our attention back to tonight's game, not much to tell you about in that opening period. No score, as both goaltenders were perfect. Prowlers 0 for 1 on the man advantage, with the only penalty being a holding call against Declan Conway. Clean first period, but the Prowlers did have their chances in the offensive zone, outshot the Rockers 12-6 in those first 20 minutes. As the Rockers are hitting the ice, Prowlers will be hitting the ice momentarily to get set for period number 2. We'll see if we can find a goal. Again, haven't found too much in the way of scoring around the FPHL up to this point. There were 2 7 o'clock games, including this one, and then 2 7:30 games. And neither of the 4, only one of the 4 has found a goal, and that was the Watertown Wolves, which we saw on the out-of-town scoreboard just moments ago. Before we start this second period, take a look at the PHP Network trivia question. And I apologize, I did promise in the first period I'd stop talking about it so I wouldn't jinx Dalton J. I forgot I made this the trivia question. He's coming into this game 1 point away from 500 in the FPHL. We want to know who are the only 2 players in league history to accomplish that feat. Put your answer in the comment section and we will give you the correct answer at the start of period 3. Trevor Babin in the goal crease to our right, 12 saves on 12 Prowlers shots. Ian Wallace in the goal crease to our left, 6 saves on 6 Rockers shots in that opening period. The goaltenders win the opening 20. We'll see who wins this middle 20 as Sam Merritt and TJ Sneath get set for this faceoff at center ice to begin period number 2, and we're underway. There's Nick Gullo sending Wells in, backhander fought off by Wallace, ends up behind the net. Wynn towards the cage, hit off of Merritt's skate. Sneath and Parsons come together in the corner. And Parsons ends up knocking his man down. Turnaround shot by Gullo, stopped by Wallace off the turnover, and then Sneath just backhanded that one slightly wide. Colton off the back wall, Wells first on it. Good jump for Motor City in this second period. Win towards the net, stick save by Wallace, and now Scantleberry the other way. Flips it in, Jay and Win after it. Jay takes his man into the wall, and Foley gives it out high. Schumacher waits, fires, blocked by Babin. Schumacher again. He tries another shot off of Gullo's stick. Heinzel down to Foley. He'll cycle it towards Chartrand, who lifts Sneath's stick. Chartrand curling on TJ Sneath. And now Schumacher again. It's the Prowlers' turn for offensive zone time. Tecumseh tried to wrap it in front. He didn't get it all the way there, and Gullo dumps it in, and Motor City heads for a change. Minute and a half gone in period 2. Chartrand gets the red line, gets it in. Foley gets there ahead of Tim Delaney. It's poked around to the far side. Sim kept it behind the net. Conway and Chartrand are up against the boards. Milam pulls it out. Spinsov one-hands it past Johnson. And it comes right back to Spinsov. Across to Conway is shot waffle boarded by Ian Wallace and poked out to center. 2 minutes gone in period 2. Young watches that one drop. He makes a pass back towards the near side. Sim ends up with it. Pulls up towards Graham in the slot. Lost it to Spinsov. Now he'll dump it in right on Wallace, who will hang on for a whistle and a face-off. 17:37 to go in period number 2. Rockers had the good first shift. Prowlers with a good second shift. Now we get a face-off deep in Port Huron territory. Vanderweel and Merritt to take it. Vanderweel won it forward. Centering feed was blocked back to him. Vanderweel to Giuliano, gives it back. Arnott ties him up, and Wallace just finds the puck in the sea of skates, and he'll clamp the glove on top. Vanderweel and Merritt again. Vanderweel looks like he might try and win it forward again. He did. Ended up hitting off of a Prowler and going to the wall. Vanderweel slips through a check from Scantleberry, and Arnott reverses it back up towards Tucker Scantleberry. Merritt couldn't get it out. Parsons played it towards the middle of the ice. Fields comes in for it. And his backhander blocked nicely by Sam Merritt. Arnott first on it in the corner. Lost the handle. He's trying to make a pass, but Merritt again with a block, this time of a feed in front. Sneath gives it off to Colton. Chartrand on the steal. He'll cycle it around towards Foley. Picks it up on the other side. Pitchforks it to Parsons, and now It goes back deep. Skettleberry towards the cage and off of a skate and over to the far side. Arnott comes pinching in. Chartrand tried a centering feed. It was taken away, and Wells gives to Gullo, who backhands it towards Prowler ice. Foley looks for an outlet. He finds Decumbus. Chartrand couldn't slap it along. Heinzel waits and gives to Arnott. Heinzel waiting for it to come off the boards as he was in the midst of a change. Wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be too many men. That puck hit a stanchion. I don't think Koash realized it, or else he would have had a good opportunity as the puck bounced right in front. Smintsov down deep. Wynn takes Foley in. Chartrand back towards Foley. Ends up on Heinzel's tape. Decumbus plays it off the board. Schumacher skates into it, able to one-hand it deep and allow his team to get a change. Schumacher flying in on the forecheck. Comes over to Wynn. Now on to Conway. Dumped in right on Wallace. He'll gather and get on top of it for a whistle and a face-off. Motor City with some good jump to begin this period, up 6-1 in shots in the frame. Prowlers still on top in that category, 13-12 right now. Still scoreless as Vanderweel wins that face-off. Colton towards the net, off a skate and wide. Wynn back towards the cage, bounces out to the other side. Colton to the middle, Giuliano backhander. That one wouldn't go. What a save by Wallace! As he slid across, Giuliano made a move to the backhand, trying to get Wallace to slide all the way through. He put a shot on, but Ian Wallace reached out the glove. What a stop. We stay scoreless. Federley gives to Graham. Back over to Austin Federley. His shot off a skate and wide. Pops out to Sim. Shot glove. Save by Babin. Sim got as much as he could of that rolling puck. Ian Wallace with another big stop in the Prowlers net. We stay 0-0. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. 14:44 to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. Ian Wallace splashing the leather on one end, and then Trevor Babin over on the other. Just before that TV timeout, stopping Tristan Sim, who got all he could of a puck that was on edge. Here's Jay with a quick shot, knocked down by Babin. Looked a little bit awkward. He just got in front of it. Delaney looking to work it out. Watched by Merritt. Continues to curl back. Now he'll give to Milam. Long lead pass. Hit Dalton Jay. He tries to turn up with it, but he turned it over. Wells back in. He scores! Tristan Wells up the turnover, steps in and beats Wallace for the first goal of the game. 14-11 to go in period 2. Fourth of the year for the rookie out of University of Central Oklahoma. They pushed over to the outside and then went back across the grain with the shot. And we have our first goal of the game. It belongs to the visitors. There's Rotundi working it up the boards. Spintsov kept it moving, and DeCumbus after it. They'll give over to Parsons. Off the glass, drops, Chartrand, quick shot off a body, and then Foley tried to put it back on net. Off the side of the cage. Chartrand's shot was partially blocked. It almost ended up going the other way on Babin. Battled for along the near side wall and announced Milam as the only assist on the goal by Wells. Here's pass over to DeCumbus, poked away by Fields. He'll jump start a rush, but his pass way behind Koash. Still ends up on Spintsov's stick, going towards the net, or he's cut off by Parsons. Shot towards the cage, stopped by Wallace, and Chartrand has to turn away from Spintsov. Motor City in the midst of a change. Parsons gets the red line, softly dumps it in, and now it's the Prowlers' turn to get fresh bodies on the ice. TJ Delaney just able to force it in. Centering feed comes to Vanderweel. And his pass knocked away off a skate. It slides back to Rocker ice. Icing waved off as Colton plays it. Long lead pass. Ends up kicking back to Arnott. His saucer feed taken by Delaney. And now Vanderweel to the net. Puck off his stick. Federley just slides it out. And now Colton. Off the far side boards. Johnson has to wait for Sim to get out of the zone. They'll give back to Arnott. Behind the net. Quick up towards Johnson, or Graham, excuse me. Federley couldn't dance to the middle of the ice. And Gullo able to chip it out. Just over 8 minutes gone in this period. Tristan Wells the only goal so far. As Federley plays it towards Merritt, fresh off the bench, but his pass across blocked by the aforementioned Wells. Deck reverses back over to the far side. Schumacher has a man breaking it. Federley now one towards the net. Santleberry stopped by Babin, and he'll jump on top for a whistle and a face-off. As Tucker Scantleberry got himself a step behind the defense. But Trevor Babin with him all the way as he tried to go to the back end. Both goaltenders have made some very good saves tonight. That was another one from Babin. This score could easily be 3-2. Here's Frank Schumacher up to Dalton Young. Slides it on to Chartrand. Dumped around. Tim Delaney first on it for Motor City. Drops it behind the net, rimmed up towards Spintsov. Now to Conway. Hassled a bit by Chartrand, who now heads to the bench. Conway starts up ice. Trying to step around Federley. Young on his stick, but Conway still with possession in the corner. And he gets it up to the line to Fields, who rims it right back deep. Young works out. Makes a move around TJ Delaney. Gets into offensive territory, and his shot stopped by Babin. Milam with the Prowlers in the midst of a change. Over to Giuliano, touch pass, jumped by Adam Heinzel. He'll dump it back around. Fields had it taken away. Merritt a quick shot. And Babin able to gobble it up for a whistle and a face-off. Good forecheck by the Prowlers to knock it off of Fields' stick. And Merritt was flying in. Just took a whack at the puck. Babin able to make the save though. We approach the midway point of period 2. Fields up to the near side to Giuliano. Bounced off the glass, gloved down by Parsons, kept alive. Rotundi, this time he'll skate it. Try to cross ice feed, partially impeded by Dalton J. Parsons collects the dump. Vanderweel keeps it in. Giuliano towards the net, and Wallace clamps the glove down on top for a whistle and a face-off. 9:36 to go in period 2. Tristan Wells has the icebreaker. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Back here at McMorran Place, 9:36 to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. Prowlers trail by a goal, 1-0. They got a few opportunities on that last shift, but Trevor Babin coming up strong on Tucker Scantleberry and Sam Merritt as well. They'll face a defensive zone face-off out of the TV timeout. That one dumped back in right over top of Wallace. Wells turning, gives down deep. Sneath tried a backhander coming out from behind the net. I think he may have thought about the Michigan for a quarter of a second. Instead he went with the backhand, and Wallace able to make the save and hang on. They'll make some changes. Prowlers sending out Evan Foley's line up against Scott Coash's line for this draw. Tied up there, Spintsov up the wall. Fields from the point. That missed everything. And now Rotundi almost lost it, still with it. And Foley, long lead pass on to Chartrand, catches up to it. He's in deep, and he couldn't get a wraparound to go as he was harassed by Declan Conway. Foley makes a move at the line, caught up high by Rotundi. And they'll raise the arm and send Rotundi to the penalty box, and the Prowlers will go to the man advantage for the second time tonight, trying to get on the board. High sticking is the signal. Tonight's referees are Adam Fish and Jim Scarpace, and the linesmen are Jacob Kohlmeyer and John Tullier. Prowlers send out Matt Graham's unit. Graham, Foley, Sim, DeCumbis, and Federley. Federley faked the drop pass, now he'll give it to DeCumbis. Graham back to DeCumbis. He rims it around to Foley, who let it go by. TJ Delaney first on it, turns around and fires at the length of the ice. 30 seconds gone on the Prowlers' man advantage. Here comes Federley. Gives it to DeCumbus. He dumps it around. Spintsov and Foley after it. DeCumbus back on it. Graham to DeCumbus. Prowlers set up. Here's Federley. DeCumbus. Down to Foley. Backdoor feed. Graham. It sits there. No goal. Babin came all the way across. I think it slipped through him a little bit. There was a rocker trying to dig at the goal line as if that puck was going in. Austin Federley seems to think it went in. Matt Graham thinks it went in, but either way, what an effort from Trevor Babin to get enough of that puck so that it didn't go straight in clean. Of course, we'll never know. Prowlers arguing their case on the bench. Their overtime winner last Saturday against Watertown was one of those. It looked like it just barely crossed the line, and it did. We zoomed it all in, saw some white between the puck and the goal line. There were, of course, for that one, we had a second angle down in the corner that we couldn't see until after the game, but once we did, we were able to zoom it in and see conclusively if that puck did cross the goal line. Of course, this time, we'll never know. So we're halfway through the Prowlers' man advantage. And it goes down as a phenomenal save from Trevor Babin. Merritt streaking around Milam all the way around the net. Knocked off his stick by Koash, and Fields clears. Johnson back up. They'll get the red line, get the rocker blue, dump in. Fields and Jay digging for that puck. And now Johnson gives it down to Dalton Jay. Around the net, beats it out high. Scantlebury. Merritt, the one-time blast, was blocked by Sneath. Final seconds ticking off the Prowlers' man advantage. Pops out to Johnson, and now Merritt looking towards the Nez. We're back to 5-on-5. Sent it there. Deflected wide, poked out in front, and then cleared down by Rotundi right out of the penalty box. And that will be icing against the Motor City Rockers with 6:37 to go in period 2. Prowlers just that close to tying the game on the power play. But Trevor Babin slides across and makes a phenomenal save. And maybe a little controversy afterwards. Up this face-off, it comes over to Milam, who bangs it off the boards all the way down, and this one will be another icing against Motor City. So they'll have to keep the same 5 out there, and that includes 3 defensemen, with Rotundi stepping out of the box, still out there. This time, Motor City trying to work it up the wall. Pops back to Fields. Turning on Federley. Able to give it up to Holt on the far side. Rotundi gets it out to Milam. Has Sneath with him. He'll shoot it, and he scores! Jamison Milam on the rush. Took the shot himself. Similar spot from where Tristan Wells scored. And he gives the Rockers a 2-0 lead. 8th of the year for the 39-year-old Milam. And right after killing the penalty, the Rockers go down and double their lead. Mike Wynn gives it up to Giuliano. Wynn to Colton. 2 goals from right about that spot that beat Ian Wallace clean to the blocker's side. Johnson gives to Jay, tries to send Scantleberry on his way. No recollect, but overskates the puck. Now Young back at center. Waits for his team to get on side. He's forced back. And now Young dancing in. Held up at the line by Vanderweel. Dumped in by Scantleberry. Vanderweel and Young get there together. Comes to Spinsaw, who backhands it out. Fully fresh off the bench, touches it to Arnott. Now Young on the Chartrand. He'll dump it around and win first on it. Back to the far side, Chartrand gets there towards the net, and it deflected. Babin able to steer it away. Quick up, knocked back. But Foley's pass taken right away. Kowash has Conway with him. Kowash to the net, and he scores. Scott Kowash with a little move from backhand to forehand, and Motor City has a 3-0 lead. That's a team-high 19th goal of the year for Kowash. Extends his point streak to 5. Puts the Rockers up 3-0. 4:43 left to go here in period 2. Adam Heinzel looking for a response. His centering feed not past Matt Graham. Schumacher towards the net. It sits there. Babin with a couple of saves. Still loose. And they'll blow it dead with a pile of bodies. As Babin made the first couple of saves, it was loose there and everybody jamming away. But the puck stays out again. And the Prowlers stay off the board with 4:24 to go in period number 2. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's! 4:24 left to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. Jamison Milam and Scott Kowash have given the Rockers a 3-0 lead. First 2 goals coming from that far side face-off circle from Wells and Milam in this second period. Beat Wallace clean to the blocker's side, and then Kowash went in, seemed to fake like he was going to that side, and made a move back to his forehand, going upstairs on the glove's hand side. Those goals coming just about a minute and a half apart. Schumacher gives it up to Chartrand off the boards. Prowlers have a 3-on-2. There's Heinzel working in, trying to give it back to Graham. Graham took a stick up high away from the play. He's down behind the net. Meanwhile, Prowlers able to cut off a pass. It's dumped in. Port Huron is offside, so Chartrand has to come back and touch up. Sneath makes a move. And he works in on 4 Prowlers. put it on net from a sharp angle, shouldered away by Ian Wallace. Delaney across to Rotundi, couldn't handle the pass cleanly. Fields makes a move. Foley took it away. Here's Vanderweel towards the net, blocked by Johnson. He'll dump it out all the way down. Icing called against the Prowlers with 3:06 to go in period number 2. So Ryan Rotundi and George Holt picking up the assists on Milam's goal. And Svintsev gets the only helper on Koash's. Milam with a 2-point night so far, goal and an assist. Svintsev and Milam both tied for the Rockers team lead in assists, now with 24 apiece. Vanderweel skates into this one. He flies into offensive territory. Try to put it back out in front. Rotundi finds it. That is shot blocked by Arnott. Puck goes off the glass all the way down, off the stick of Evan Foley. And another icing against the Prowlers with just over 2.5 to go in period 2. Faceoff will come back to Prowler ice once more. Foley and Koash on this faceoff. Parsons, one hands it to Jay. He bounces it off the boards and out. Josh Colton up to Conway. Bounce back to Wynn. He dumps it in, blockered by Wallace. And now they blow it dead. I think the Prowlers had one too many, and they did. So we will get a Rockers power play for the first time tonight. Too many men on the ice, the call against the Prowlers. You could count 6, even after they blew the whistle. Prowlers penalty kill straightened up by True Balance Chiropractic. Went just 4 for 8 last weekend against Watertown. All 3 goals for the Wolves in that first game came on the power play. Sits dead last in the FPHL at 70.4%. I think that's the top-ranked power play in the league at 33.3. Milam, one-timer, rises over top. And it's dumped down. 10-second difference between the penalty clock and the game clock. Penalty will be set to expire with 10 seconds left in the second period. There's Spintsov. Walks the line, gives over to Koash. One-timer, blocked down, comes to the side of the cage. They keep it moving, and Conway couldn't get a touch on it at the top of the crease. Spintsov touch to Koash. Now to Conway. Koash again. Spintsov down to Milam. Nick Gullo also on this power play. He's the puck now. Fires a feed to Koash towards the net, kicked out by Wallace. And now the Prowlers move the other direction shorthanded. Johnson has Merritt going towards the net, floated it there, and Babin forced to make a save with 38 seconds left on the Prowlers penalty. Vanderweel hassled by Scantleberry, trying to take the puck, and Giuliano comes in off the bench to assist his teammate. He works up ice, steps around Parsons. Vanderweel over in the corner. Down to Wynn. Walks out, finds Vanderweel, and now Colton touches it to Delaney. Back to Colton, now TJ Delaney once more. 15 seconds to go in the period. Final seconds ticking off the Rockers' power play as that attempt towards the net, blocked by Heinzel. Tecumseh trying to move it along. Sim won't have enough time, will he? And that's going to do it. He may have had enough time if he just shot the puck, but not enough for the pass across to Evan Foley. And after 40 minutes of play, the Rockers up 3-0. Strength of goals from Tristan Wells, Jamison Milam, and Scott Koash. Coming up in the second intermission, the Continental catch-up. All the highlights from this past week in the Continental Division. We'll also take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule, and we'll do it all in this second intermission. But the Prowlers have some work to do here in period number 3, trailing 3-0. Shots on goal in that middle period, favoring the Rockers 15-8, and Motor City has a 21-20 advantage in that category. As we get set for the third period of play here at McMorran Place, the 12th meeting between these two teams this season, the Rockers have won 6 of the first 11. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game on Friday, March 8th, as they take on the Blue Ridge Bobcats for the very first time, with puck drop at McMorran Place scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or by scanning the QR code on your screen now. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan the QR code on your screen now to experience Prowlers hockey live and in person at the Old Barn McMorran Place the way it was meant to be enjoyed. Prowlers have some work to do in this third period. They're to come back from a 3-0 deficit. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
Like, if you make a game-saving stop, I think you need to just go right down the line. Get your taps.
Oh,
there's a chance in front of the goal. Austin Doe. Boy, Taylor Joseph Yalba called that one, saying how well Doe has been playing lately, and he's right there, Johnny, on the spot for that puck in front.
We do not want to let 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, and that is a huge breakaway save.
No, that one, I mean, that. Oh, there's a goal, though, tipped in by Jake Cox at the side of the net.
So good at protecting the puck, putting the player on the outside of him every time, right, and putting the puck where he wants it. And McDonald does a great example of that.
There's Moore in after it behind the net. Puck up top. There's a quick shot. Slahetka, and he ripped it wide. Rebound, score!
I think that first one went in, too. I think the net got lifted up.
The net did get lifted up. It looked like it went through, but Slahetka scores on the rebound. River Dragons attack. Mort cutting in as McDonald gives it to him. McDonald space in the slot for Moore. Scores!
What a play.
Kyle Moore with a tip on the back door directs it in past Del Luisio for the goal with 24.7 seconds to go. It's 2-0 Columbus. Justin McDonald's league record scoring streak is now 23 games with a point. Spins out of the check from Nielsen. Spins away from Turner. Feeds it in front to Moore. Save made. Del Luisio. Rebound score. There's the hat trick for Kyle Moore. Moore follows up his own rebound. The goaltender down, and he's able to put it home on the backhand. It's 5-0 Columbus.
He had time to do so. Blacksmith all the way across, shot kicked by Tynan. They dig away and they score. Tynan made the first save. The puck ended up behind him. They were battling for it on the goal line. The third power play goal of the game for Watertown. They tie it up at 3 with 2:52 to go in period number 2. Up the face-off, Prowlers set back up. Freeborn walks in, shoots, score! I'm not sure if that hits somebody in front or not, but it squeaks through the 5-hole, and the Prowlers have a power play goal to take the lead again. Jabari flying around the zone. He'll hand it off to Gingrich. Now out to Doyle. Turnaround shot deflected down. The rebound, they can't get a shot away. Now they do and they score. And it's Nico Hemming who finally got the bouncing puck on net. And the Wolves have come back to tie less than 5 minutes into period 3. He's not on the ice, though, as Prowlers start with their top line of Graham, Federley, and Freeborn going up against Lord, Leeson, and Dabari. Freeborn had a step, couldn't handle the pass clean, and it slips by and in! Freeborn one-touch handed it on goal. It just slipped through Kozlowski. The Wolves don't think it went in, but the Prowlers are celebrating.
Picking it up is Frazee here. 17:50 left to go in the second period. We're tied up at 1. Dawson Baker and Max Cezenovich, the goal scorers here over the first 22 and a half minutes of action. A pass is intercepted. Peony, a shot, and he scores!
Back to pick it up, though, is Gary Lindbergh. He's got Yuri Pastuka pressuring him. Pastuka gets a touch and now picks it up. Yuri Pastuka throws it near side. Kramer scores! The second of the night for Roman Kramer in his 6th this year. Doubles the lead for Carolina with 2:57 left to go here in the first. Frazee, dispossessed by Pastuka over at the far point. Tattern battling, instead it's taken away. Here's Kramer dancing through, backhand, and he scores! A hat trick for Roman Kramer.
Welcome back to McMorran Place. 2 periods down, and we're wrapping up the second intermission as the Prowlers are trailing the Motor City Rockers 3-0. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Before we take a look back at that second frame, take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard, starting in Elmira, where the River Sharks have a 2-1 lead on the Blue Ridge Bobcats. Kyle Powell and MJ Markle scoring for the River Sharks, and Danny Martin, the only one for Blue Ridge through 40 minutes of play. Danbury Hat-Tricks recently tied the game with the Watertown Wolves. Johnny Ruiz on the power play early in the second, matches a first period power play marker from Trevor Lord. 1-1 the score in Watertown. Columbus River Dragons quickly turning this one into a laugher against the Baton Rouge Zydeco. 5-0. 10 Dragons have found the score sheet. Justin McDonald and Josh Petrantonio leading the way with a goal and an assist apiece. They're more than halfway through the game, and Brendan Colgan has only had to make 8 saves. Finally in Biloxi, they're through 20 minutes as the Carolina Thunderbirds, on the strength of a Josh Keplinger goal, have a 1-0 lead on the Mississippi Seawolves. Gus Ford is back in the lineup for Carolina. That's the big story for them this week. Didn't make our FPHL storylines, but Gus Ford did return from the SPHL this week. And that is your look at tonight's out-of-town scoreboard. Let's take a quick look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule. Nothing next week. Prowlers have a week off, but they will be playing tomorrow against the Rockers. Another 6:05 start in Big Boy Arena, and another home and home for Motor City and Port Huron. Check out the game stats, and well, the Rockers with that 3-0 lead. They're up on shots 21-20. It's been a clean game on the penalty sheet. Motor City has been able to take advantage of a few opportunities and open up the 3-0 lead. Trevor Babin has been very good in net for Motor City, holding the Prowlers off the board in those first 40 minutes of play. Well, before we start the third, we take a look at our PHP Network trivia question about Dalton J, who came into tonight 1 point away from 500 in the FPHL. We want to know who the only 2 players in league history to accomplish that feat are. And one of them is a former Prowler, Ahmed Mahfouz, of course, the league's all-time leader in points with 885. Tyler Jurich, the current head coach of the Elmira River Sharks, the other, with 586 in his FPHL career. That is tonight's PHP Network trivia question. Trevor Babin getting set in the goal crease to our left. 20 saves on 20 Prowler shots through the first 40 minutes. Ian Wallace in the goal crease to our right. He has stopped 18 of 21 Motor City shots so far, as we are underway here in period 3, and right off the drop, Tristan Wells dumps Tucker Scantleberry. And then Scantleberry goes back after Wells. Referees keeping their arms down. Colton floats it towards the net. And the net just did pop off. I don't even know if that was even Wallace's fault or not. As both teams will be allowed to change, so they deem it wasn't Ian Wallace's fault that the net came off. Got a defensive zone face-off for the Prowlers. They deem it, at least it wasn't intentional, allowing the Prowlers to make a change. Now a little more chirping going on between the benches. They have to make sure everything is all set. Graham jumped up to glove it down. And now Parsons up to Federley. Tipped along by Babin. Graham trying to feed it towards the middle of the ice. And it's Schumacher. We saw it slide out just before he was able to dump it back in. Quick up to Svintsov as he played it at the Prowler line after the offsides call. He tried to pull it out, but he wasn't allowed to touch it at all inside the Prowler zone. So we'll have another whistle and another face-off. Face-off coming just outside the Prowler zone. One forward by Vanderweel, which he's done a few times tonight, mostly in the offensive zone. That time, able to do it and neutral ice, but the puck hops away from Tim Delaney. Prowlers work back in, are not chasing down Milam, who turned it over, and Jay's shot just slipped past the post. Vanderweel digging for that puck. Scantlebury tried to pull it out. He was knocked down by Milam, who has to recollect his stick from Scantlebury's legs. Johnson and TJ Delaney come together. And it comes back this side to Scantlebury. He's able to work it out. Prowlers making some changes. Fields gives it on to Sneath. Back towards Fields, got through. Gullo gave it away. And Fields sees that pass come right to him at center, and once again the net off in a seemingly unrelated play towards the net. The puck wasn't going there. Referee trying to dig out the hole where the peg goes in. They'll get the drill out here to do it proper. No issues in the first or second period, so both goaltenders have used that net so far in this game with no issue. Up until this third period. Tick over 2 minutes gone in the final frame of regulation. Josh Colton fires a pass cross ice to Gullo. No rim it around. Wells taken in by Adam Heinzel. Wells and Heinzel come together again as they try and force it up the wall. Instead it slides behind the net. Heinzel back to the near side. Now towards the cage. Svintsov had his shot deflected by Sneath. Wallace trying to find it. He'll get on top for a whistle and a faceoff. Now Schumacher and Sneath getting after it. Chartrand in there as well. And our first nastiness really of the game. I guess you could count Scantlebury and Wells for their little spat they had at the beginning of the period. And we'll see who heads to the box. Looks like Sneath and Schumacher will. So they'll likely just even this one up. Referees are discussing though. Scott Koash and Austin Federley head over to represent their teams at the referee circle. Looks like we'll have 4-on-4. 2 minutes up on the board for both Schumacher and Sneath. We'll get 4-on-4 action here at McMorran Place, and we'll see if the Prowlers can use that to get themselves on the scoreboard tonight. Of course, playing tonight without their leading scorer, goals and points, Liam Freeborn. Puck comes down to Colton, he scores! Koash turned it right on Colton's tape, and from in tight, he's able to pick the short side corner, and it's the Rockers who make it 4-0. Josh Colton's 9th of the year. And Motor City gets the first goal of this third period to put the game even further out of reach for the Prowlers. They want to make a comeback. They'll have to start now. Icing waved off. Are not able to chip it by. Still 4-on-4. Svintsov drops it to Colton, watched by Scantleberry. Colton gives it to Svintsov. Forced back by Merrick, cross-ice feed on the tape of Vanderweel. Back across to Svintsov. Vanderweel again. Rockers making changes. Vanderweel pulls up. And now he'll move in. Vanderweel to the front. Tipped on net by Giuliano. And Wallace able to make the save. Wallace again has to steer into the corner. Giuliano right on top of him. And now pulled out. Comes back to Arnott. Up to Dalton J. Poked off his stick. Koash and Wynn pick up the helpers on Josh Colton's goal, excuse me. Here comes Dalton Young. His pass across hit Federley. He ends up going down to the ice. Delaney up to his brother TJ. That was Tim to TJ, and TJ circles back and revs the engines up ice. Dumps it in, heads after it. Had his stick lifted. TJ Delaney centering feed. Fields stopped by Wallace, sliding all the way out aggressively. Now the Prowlers have a 3-on-2s. We're back to 5-on-5. Chartrand flips it on net, and Sneath got his stick up high. I think it was Alex Johnson or Tristan Sim heading towards the net. I can only see the 5 right now in the corner. As he's slow to his skates, and it was indeed Alex Johnson. As TJ Sneath just seconds after coming out of the penalty box, he'll be right back in. And we'll see if anything extra comes out of it. Actually, Dan Chartrand is also going to the box, so this may have gotten evened up. $15-19 to go in period 3. We'll see if this evened up. Dan Chartrand also in the box as he gave Sneath a shove after the play was over. And it looks like that will indeed even things up, so we'll continue with 4-on-4, getting right back to it. And just a few seconds after Sneath and Frank Schumacher stepped out of the penalty boxes. Graham and Koash to take this face-off. Johnson seems to be all right. He's still on the ice. Svintsov. Watch it go through. Schumacher over to Johnson. Down to Graham. Looking towards Jay. And now Johnson again. Walks down the wall to the net. Backhander. Pushed it wide. Tried to put it back out in front, and Babin blocked that pass attempt. Schumacher gloves it down, but Jay, the next one to play it. That's a hand pass, and now Alex Johnson got a piece of Devon Fields, who's flat on the ice. Koash wants after Johnson, and it looks like this one's starting to get ugly. Take a look again. As Fields bumped into Schumacher, As he was getting back up, Johnson came right through and put his body into Devon Fields. We'll get it all sorted out when we come back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. It will be a Rockers 4-on-3 power play for 1 minute and 29 seconds and then 31 seconds of 5-on-4 time. As we get set to play again with 14:48 to go. In period number 3, Alex Johnson gets 2 for roughing. So we'll get a face-off deep in Prowler territory. They have Federley, Parsons, and Merritt out to kill. It gets past Giuliano. Merritt after it. Giuliano just had too much of a jump on him. Milam the other way, floated it on net off the stick of Parsons. And it's gloved by Wallace. They'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. The Prowlers are to their second true balance penalty kill of the game. Prowlers switch things up. Graham, Jay, and Schumacher out there now. Vanderweel, TJ Delaney, Milam, and Giuliano. Jay comes back for it and dumps it all the way down right off the face-off. Milam gives it off to Delaney. Rims it around. Here's Vanderweel. Milam. Giuliano touched it right back. Milam wrist shot goes wide. So he was looking towards Wallace's blocker side. Vanderweel, watched by Graham, trying to curl away. It's a lane to the net, gives to Delaney, backdoor feed, and they score. It got all the way through for Jamison Milam. That's a tap-in, and it's a power play goal that puts the Rockers up by a handful. With 40 seconds left in the 4-on-4. This one out of hand for the Prowlers as Milam gets his second of the night. And the shorthanded Prowlers team having a tough time tonight. Trevor Babin has been very good, and the Rockers have been opportunistic. Wallace's stick broke as he was trying to signal that there was a Rocker back behind the Prowlers defense. So he's without a stick. Here comes Wynn. Pulls up, feeds it across, back to 5-on-5. Net comes off. And Wallace will need a new twig. .17 to go in period 3. Vanderweel and TJ Delaney picking up the assists on the goal by Milam. And for Danny Vanderweel, that's his first helper back after, of course, being out for over 2 months, about 2.5 months after the hit from Daniel Amesbury in a road game against the Danbury Hat Tricks. They're picking up the shattered pieces of Wallace's stick right off the ice. Nathan Foley set for this face-off. They'll blow it dead as the players over on the inside were a bit too close. Parsons and Wells having a little trouble setting up as well. And now we can drop the puck. Scantleberry turns it out to Chartrand. And now Wells going right after Brian Parsons. Wells just drags Parsons to the ice. Parsons got a little bit of a shot in. Gloves are still on. Now Parsons has his off, trying to throw some punches. Prowlers were moving up ice the other direction, but Tristan Wells jumped Brian Parsons off this face-off. They were battling, and then it escalated. I believe both of them will be heading to the penalty boxes. So both of them will head to the sin bins. We'll see exactly what the penalty calls will be, whether they do get 5 for fighting or just 2 for roughing. They're discussing right now over by the timekeeper. Adam Fish, the referee, has given his decision and is explaining it to Danny Vanderweel and Evan Foley. Looks like the signal was 5 aside. The only question again is, will they be sitting in there for 2 minutes or 5? And Ian Wallace is pointing to something in his goal crease. Seems to be something wrong in the blue area, maybe a little hole in there or something. Oh no, it's actually some more pieces from his shattered stick. So they'll have to clean up that. Boy, that stick really did shatter into a million pieces. I only saw the 2 pieces that went flying into the slot as Wallace tossed it behind the play. And looks like it really did shatter into a few million pieces. They'll just sweep them all into the net. They had to pick some up over by the McMorran Place logo, all the way on the left of your screen earlier on. And now cleaning out Ian Wallace's crease, and we'll be all set for a face-off. Back down near Motor City territory. 5 for fighting for Parsons and for Wells. So we'll continue to play 5-on-5 as Gullo dumps it in. There's Young up the near side. And now comes back out of the zone. Colton retreats into his own end. Floats it over off the far wall. Young reverses it to Johnson. Off the boards, here comes Federley. Has to catch back up to it. Chips it around his man. Federley backhand feed. So coming out to Young, quick shot. And it's caught and held by the netminder Trevor Babin. 12:26 to go in period 3. As Dalton Young put that puck on net. Comes right to Babin off the drop. He'll jump on top and cover up. They'll do it again. Foley this time wins it to the boards. DeCumbus lost it, pops up in the air, drops right on the wall. Rotundi trying to work it out. He finds a man in Conway who hands to Koash. As Spinso going to the net, tried to float it there. Hit off of Frank Schumacher, now Foley the other direction. Fields retreating with the puck. Koash to Rotundi. This pass behind Conway, who will pick it up off the boards. And now Spitsov again on the far side. Fights through a check from Braden Deck. Checked out by Chartrand all the way down to Rocker territory. 11:35 to go in period 3. Koash floats it along, knocked back by Arnott. There's Merritt over to Jay. From the outside, slip through, and out the other side. Johnson cycles it deep. Scantleberry saw it go through. Merritt at his centering feed, knocked away by Babin with the paddle. And here comes the Johnson. Quick up, looking towards Jay. There are a few Rockers in the way of that. Tim Delaney curling away from the oncoming Matt Graham. And now his brother TJ gets it out. Giuliano skates into it. Onside. His centering feed off of Vanderweel's stick. And dumped back in. Johnson skates it out, has numbers with him. Gives to Scantleberry on the outside towards Graham. Backhand feed looking for Johnson, but Milan was in the middle. Young walks the line. Tries a spin move, ends up picking the puck back up. Quick shot. Stopped by Babin, batted behind the net. Young first on it there. To the point, Johnson, wrist shot, blocked. And it comes right back to Alex Johnson. This time, he'll softly dump it around. Scantleberry behind the net. Milam comes in on him. Graham gave Milam a shove. And Matt Graham will head to the penalty box. And now Scantleberry getting into it with a rocker. Crowd gathering behind the net. Just under 10 minutes to go in period 3. And still more. Milam and Graham were getting into it a little bit extra with the linesman in the middle. And Tim Delaney and Tucker Scantleberry also getting a little more acquainted. Both Graham and Scantleberry heading to the box. We'll see if anyone else joins them when we come back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network. So Tucker Scantlebury has been escorted back to his bench. Matt Graham will pick up the only penalty. It was the original penalty before the brouhaha. So the Prowlers will be down a man, trailing 5-0 with under 10 minutes to go in period number 3. Scantlebury actually, beg your pardon, Scantlebury wasn't sent back to the bench, he was sent to the locker room. He picked up a 10-minute misconduct for inciting an opponent, and it's not listed as a game misconduct, just a 10-minute misconduct, but Scantlebury's night is likely over with there being under 10 minutes to go in this game, and unless the Prowlers score 5 times in the next 10 minutes, Scantlebury won't be eligible to return. There's Vanderweel giving it on to Colton as the Rockers set up the man advantage that had already scored in this period. That was a 4-on-3 goal. Graham gets 2 for cross-checking. And now Giuliano floats it around. Vanderweel to Colton. Waits, gives it down to Giuliano, into the slot, right to Dan Chartrand, who clears. 40 seconds gone on the penalty to Matt Graham. Scott Kowash curls back, and now he'll move up ice. Gives to Milam. Saucer feed finds Spintsov, and now to Conway, who works in to the outside, fought off by Wallace. Rockers still with the puck. There's Gullo giving it to Spintsov. Looking for a shooting lane, still pass it to Milam. 40 seconds left on the Rockers' power play. And Spintsov drops it off, comes over to Milam. Kowash. Spintsov again. Now deep, looking for a friendly stick. Plenty of traffic in front. Instead, it ended up in the corner. Kowash to Milam. Winds. It's a Spintsov. Off of Gullo's stick. Johnson looking for it. But Gullo able to keep control. Spintsov out in front. Stopped by Wallace. And now Conway is on top of Braden Deck. And that will draw everybody. Deck put Conway into the boards as Conway was falling down earlier on in the shift. And Conway obviously did not like that. He'll head to the box. 8 seconds left on the Rockers' power play. So we'll play 4-on-4 for those 8 seconds. And then it will be a Prowlers man advantage for 1 minute and 52 seconds. Conway gets 2 minutes for roughing. And Brian Parsons and Tristan Wells have exited the penalty boxes after serving their 5 minutes. The Prowlers send out most of Matt Graham's power play unit, and Graham will join them in 8 short seconds. Rotundi gives it around. TJ Delaney waiting until it's a Prowlers power play. Now Rotundi gives it up. Giuliano to Delaney. Comes to Sim, now up to Matt Graham. Fakes the drive. He'll curl back and give to Federley. Over to DeCumbus, picks it up off the boards. Graham out high, Federley across, one-timer, whiffed on by Sim. And that puck cleared. Quick up to Foley as Graham going towards the net. Foley to Sim, the trailer. Makes a move through a couple of Rockers. And now Dalton Young. Touch to Sim, trying to find Foley. Bats it out of the air. Babin doesn't have his goal stick. And now Johnson. Babin's stick is behind the net, over towards the corner. Graham over towards the area where the stick was. The referee able to knock it out of the way. Here's Graham with it again. And in front, Foley stopped by the stickless Babin. And he hangs on for a whistle and a face-off with 6:45 to go in the third. Prowlers in danger of being shut out for the second time this season. Happened back in December in Danbury. Meanwhile, Trevor Babin looking for his first shutout of the year. There's Dalton Young. Gives it off to Jay. Back to Young. Johnson on the sideboards. 28 seconds left to go in the Prowlers power play. Jay risks it through right into the catching glove of Trevor Babin, who hangs on for another whistle, another face-off. 22 seconds to go on the Port Huron man advantage. Two shots so far on this power play for Port Huron. Young gives it over to Johnson. Seam pass, Jay, and Babin stretches out. Jay with another, and Babin with another answer. Delaney, that's Tim Delaney rimming it around. Jay keeps it in, fires a pass across towards Chartrand. We're back to 5-on-5. Merritt in front. Taken away by Koash, and he ices the puck. Few ticks under 6 minutes to go here in period 3. Face-off will come all the way down to Motor City's end. We'll play 5-on-5 for the first time in a little while. Koash and Graham in on the face-off. Milam, quick up, Arnott knocks it down. And now Schumacher. He dumps it in, but it's stymied there at the line. Conway the other direction, drops for Koash, back to Conway. All the way around, he tried the wrap. Wallace does the splits. They keep it out. And the net knocked off once more. 5:34 to go in period number 3. Prowlers leading in shots on goal in this period 9-7. And for the game 29-28. It's been Motor City who's gotten the opportunities to go. Fields turns it to Wells. And now Arnott able to get to the Rocker line. Sim works it through towards the net. Score! Austin Federley going towards the cage. Had to go off of him. And that will spoil the shutout bid for Trevor Babin with 5:19 to go in period 3. Good pass towards the net by Tristan Sim. And Austin Federley with his 12th goal of the year. Already his second highest goal total in a season for his career. He had 24 back in 2019-20. He gets a little consolation goal for the Prowlers. And erases the goose egg for Trevor Babin. There's Rotundi. Dumps it out. Heinzel hustling after it. They approach 5 minutes to go. Rotundi. Had it taken away off the pass. Chartrand dumped by Ryan Rotundi. He plays it back to Chartrand with his hand. That will be an easy whistle and an easy call for the referee. We'll take our final timeout. Austin Federle breaks the shutout for Trevor Babin. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's! We invite you to tune into our next broadcast tomorrow when the Prowlers visit the Motor City Rockers. Puck drop is scheduled for 6:05 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:50. It's all right here on the PHP Network. Prowlers will be looking to turn the page in that one. At least they can hold their heads up and say they didn't get shut out tonight, which is a little small consolation. Merritt flips it along, glove down by Wynn. Of course, tomorrow will be the big return to Big Boy Arena for Danny Vanderweel, his first game back since the injury. And I was talking with Ben Zalagi, the play-by-play man for the Rockers, and he was saying he's expecting a big ovation for Danny Vanderweel, and I would be absolutely shocked if Vanderweel was not in the starting lineup tomorrow night. So let the fans give him that ovation. .402 to go in the third period. Tristan Sim and Paul Arnott picking up the assists on Austin Federle's goal. There's Chartrand with a shot towards the net. That's gobbled up by Babin, and Koash gave Federle a shove. Chartrand gives him one in turn. After Federle went hard towards the net, after Babin, made the save. Arnott with his 3rd assist of the year in game number 6. He has 9 more games after this that he has to play to become playoff eligible. This is game number 37 for the Prowlers. So 19 more on the schedule. And Milam wrestling with Graham. And I think they're going to go. Graham has thrown off his glove, so is Milam. And now they will go in the corner. Milam's helmet has popped off. Graham trying to pull the jersey over Milam's head. Graham with a couple of uppercuts. Graham with some more feeding Jamison Milam uppercuts with Milam's jersey over his head. And the referee gets involved to say that's enough. And Graham and Milam will both head to the locker rooms. Milam put a hit on Graham, started wrestling him, and then they dropped the mitts. And Matt Graham got some very good shots in on the veteran Jamison Milam. .348 to go in period 3. Another small consolation victory for the Prowlers. Evan Foley and TJ Sneath get set for this face-off. Foley wins it back clean. Parsons dumps it around. And now Jay centering feed, nobody home. And Wells dumps it over to the corner. Holt first on it. Kicked along by Foley. Wells first on it. Snaith taken in by Brian Parsons. And now Heinzel over to Jay. He and Wells come together. Holt takes the puck. Kick down to Tristan Wells. Snaith coming out in front. Passed it off. And again, the net comes off its moorings. I guess for Prowlers fans, they're a little bit happy about my small announcer's jinx on Trevor Babin. Of course, I do work for the Prowlers, so sometimes the announcer's jinx does work in your favor as far as my employer. Not so much for the Motor City fans in the chat. Jay dumps that one around. Conway taken in by DeCumbus. Foley digging for that puck. And it's pulled out by Rotundi. He sends it out. Svinsov chips it past Heinzel. Then Parsons takes him into the wall. And then Rotundi steps up on Adam Heinzel. Sim wheeling up ice. Waits for help off the bench. Finds Chartrand towards the net. And blockered by Babin. He had Merritt in a similar position where Austin Federley scored that last goal. Deck over towards Sim off his stick, and TJ Delaney will dump it back around. Deck reverses for Arnott. Tipped out, and Merritt skates into it. Flying in. Tried to pass across. He swung and missed at it, though. Deck just gets it deeper. And Win. The backhanded along. Comes to Arnott at the point. Across to Deck. Wrists it through. And it's steered away by Babin. Deck once more. Sent that shot wide. Federley tried to touch that puck. Instead, it's lofted high and out by Nick Gullo. And Chartrand sends it around. Minute 20 to go until this one's wrapped up. Prowlers will see their 3-game win streak come to a close. They'll finish this 5-game homestand 3-2-0 with one overtime win. Let's go Prowlers chants coming up from the crowd as we hit the final minutes. Wells couldn't wrestle it away from Sim. Wells works in, passed it off to Holt, shot blocked. And Merritt plays it off the glass. That puck fluttering slowly all the way down, and it will have the legs for icing with 39 seconds left to go in this one. Face-off will come deep in Prowlers territory. Merritt and Sneath to take it. Fields dumps it around. Wells first on it. Turnaround try, stopped by Wallace. He'll cover up for a whistle and a face-off with 31.5 up on the big board. Prowlers' next home game, not until March, with a week off next week, but March is full of home games for Port Huron. They play the first weekend, March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Danbury, and from there on out, they won't leave the state of Michigan until April. Their only other road game next month, guess who? It's Motor City Rockers. They'll actually have 2 at Big Boy Arena. 3-3-3 scheduled for a packed March for the Prowlers. And lots of home games. And our next one will be on the 8th against the Blue Ridge Bobcats, or the 9th, excuse me. I believe it is the 8th against the Blue Ridge Bobcats. It is indeed the 8th. Here's Dalton J. Centering feed. Federally shot save by Babin, trying to find the rebound as Chartrand was digging away. A glove has flown off, and now we have another brouhaha ensuing. 12.2 up on the clock. They're trying to separate Rotundi and Chartrand. Chartrand with no gloves on has Rotundi in a headlock. I think they both want to go, but the referees don't want them to. Babin was pointing towards Ian Wallace. Wallace wants absolutely no part of Trevor Babin. Wallace, one of the strongest players I'm willing to bet in the FPHL. Prowlers did a preseason lift session, which you would have seen on the Behind the Eyes training camp documentary, which is still available on our YouTube channel, the PHP Network. Prowlers did a pregame lift session during that training camp. It was Wallace's first day with the team after he rejoined the club, after he started the preseason with Blue Ridge. His teammates were lifting, and then Wallace would come over, add a plate on each side, then he would start lifting. So certainly if he would get a shot off on Trevor Babin, it would be tough, but I don't think Ian Wallace is at all interested in dropping the mitts. We have 12.2 seconds left in this one. I think the result is pretty clear. We have 2 minutes up on the Prowlers side of the scoreboard. A couple of Prowlers have been sent to early showers. So they get 4 Prowlers in the locker room before this clock hits zeros. Chartrand and I believe Austin Federley were escorted to the rooms. I might actually be wrong. I don't think Federley was on the ice. I know definitely Dan Chartrand was, but he joins Matt Graham and Tucker Scantleberry. So actually no change in the on-ice manpower as this one goes down to zeros. 5-1 your final for Motor City Rockers. I was correct. Austin Federley was sent to the dressing room early, but the Rockers come into McMorran Place and win 5-1 despite being outshot 34-29 by the Prowlers. And another reminder to tune in to our next broadcast tomorrow. The Prowlers and the Rockers do it again, this time down in Fraser. Puck drop scheduled for 6:05 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:50. And it's all right here on the PHP Network. Prowlers will be looking to turn the page on this one. After an even opening period, the Rockers were opportunistic, got some past Ian Wallace in the second, and then it just opened the floodgates, and Port Huron couldn't get one past Trevor Babin until it was far too late, and Motor City skates home with a 5-1 win. Milam finishes with 2 goals and an assist to lead all scorers. Scott Kowash had a goal and a helper for Motor City. But they spread around the scoring pretty well, did the Motor City Rockers, as they take the victory here tonight and move to 21-12-4 with 63 points. While the Prowlers drop to 19-14-4. And again, they see their 3-game win streak come to an end. Again, these teams will battle tomorrow night at Big Boy Arena. and we will have it for you right here on the PHP Network. But for now, for Kim running the camera, I'm Will Wiggleman. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next time on the PHP Network.